going to be making a video that will make a lot of people angry. Because a lot of the red pill people are not going to like me after this because I'm going to say a lot of things that are basically dunking on red pillars. Okay, you know, the manosphere movement, whatever they want to call themselves now. But I'm also going to be making a lot of people mad who are believing this girl power, feminism, female empowerment thing. Okay? You know why? Because I tell the truth. Okay? And the truth is unpopular and it's hard to digest. But the whole point of what I'm doing is try to make the truth easier to swallow, easier to understand. By first not only telling the truth, but also breaking down the truth. So I think this is a really good example of how no one understands how men and women should work together and how both red pill manosphere people and this whole girl power empowerment movement get it wrong and leads to dissatisfaction like this.
I
Getting cheated
heard that
on.
you don't know how to get spoiled by a man. I know that you guys need my help. That's why I'm here.
Right. The wizard.
Okay, yeah, so the whole strategize, like, okay, well, I'm gonna get him to treat me better by doing this. Strategizing and putting things together like that is a masculine imperative. So you're gonna see throughout this video that the Wizard Liz is basically gonna be the man relationship, and he's gonna be the woman of the relationship. And I'll go over that more later, but that's a very key point, and that's another thing that a lot of these people are just gonna completely brush over in different ways.
Liz is here to help women improve their relationships. As if there weren't enough low quality people in the dating pool, we have the spoiled girly movement making things worse. A movement that is full of sex workers and rad femmes who hate men, so they have no problem abusing or manipulating them.
Make your man believe that either your friend, your sister, I don't know, some female in that you know is getting treated so well by her boyfriend, by her partner, by her husband. Oh, he just bought her this and that. See, how men are is competitive. They're very competitive. So if you tell a man that your friend is being taken care of like this, then their competitive nature.
Okay, so the whole girl power, manipulate your man into treating you better. The big problem with this is that this only works on stupid men. And aside from the point that this is like a masculine imperative, you know, divide and conquer strategy, like she's playing some war video game. This only works on stupid men. Okay? Because if a man is going to change his whole entire orientation based on what other men are doing for their woman, first of all, he should find it unattractive that you're even talking about it in this sense, like the way she's saying it. He should find that unattractive. But also, he should have enough of an identity. This is going to come up later, and a lot throughout this video. He should have enough of identity to not be so swayed by other people's actions towards their woman in this sense. Okay? So, yeah, it doesn't work.
Comes up and they're like, okay,
This doesn't work unless you get a low quality man, and those are the men that are going to cheat on you. So that's why you are where you are.
this is what I'm competing with.
Okay, if you want to compare me to other men and talk about how they're better than me, then I'm going to tell you about how all of your friends are more attractive than you, just so I can activate your competitive nature and turn you into the best version of yourself. So this is sort of...
Okay, well, listen, I'm mostly here for the clips of the Wizard Liz and Landon, but like, see, like, okay, this guy I'm watching, and he's cool. He's a cool guy. Okay, I guess we're relatively on the same side, but you know, I watched his video on the LGBT movement. He seems to be like a classical liberal kind of person because what did he say there? He said, and this is like what I'm talking about with just like this guy is technically on my side, but I'm gonna have a lot of disagreements with him just based on what he said there because it says a lot about his assumptions. Because what he said there, he said, well, you know, if she says that men are like doing other things for good women, then I'm gonna tell her she's ugly, like for those all the other things. Why would you do that? And I get he's trying to make like an ironic point. He wouldn't actually do that, but the point is that you're kind of attacking the thing that's not the problem. The problem is that she is a girl trying to do masculine imperative things, and in this case, the man falling for it has would have to have some kind of feminine trait, or I don't know about a feminine trait. I would say more so a lack of identity. That's not feminine, but yeah, I don't know that like the joke he's making kind of attacks the wrong point. Right? It's assuming that like, oh well, men and women, you know, they're kind of just the same, but like in different bodies. Like their minds are just the same.
the modus operandi of how these spoiled girly princess treatment channels like the Wizard Liz operate. They run under the guise of women's self-improvement with videos like, study yourself to become confident, or how to become extremely seductive. which granted sometimes make decent points, but those decent points
See, women shouldn't even be worrying about these things. Again, that's kind of the problem everyone's glancing over. The whole imperative of a woman trying to become the best version of herself and trying to be really cool and, really attract men, and then, YouTubers that are girls talking about how to attract men and like, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that, and they're speaking all like this. These are masculine traits, okay? And this is one of the problems I have with like all these conservative people. Like, for example, Hawk Tuah. I don't know if you remember that chick, but the whole conservative movement started jerking themselves off the Hawk Tuah because she said nigga or something like that. And it's like, bro, we're supposed to be conservative. We don't like when women use language like that because that's not it's not ladylike. The whole point is conservatives believe women should be ladylike and men should be gentlemen. But then conservatives just like hawk to it because she said that. It's like, dude, this is not a good representation of what we believe, and that's why I have a lot of problems with them. And the same thing's kind of happening here. I mean, all of this stuff, the whole women self-improvement space and the way they speak of it, all these different YouTubers, not just her, okay, it's all these different people, and the woman listening, they're in a masculine realm of like competition trying to get better. It's not ladylike, which is why we have situations like we do nowadays.
points are mixed in with some of the most toxic relationship advice, where not only do people like the wizard Liz make women undateable, but will also actively give advice designed to poison relationships that are already ongoing and may be perfectly fine.
And if you are already in a relationship and your partner, he didn't spoil you yet, and you want him to start spoiling you, just tell him like, hey, I really would appreciate it if you gave me some money, like an allowance, sort of small, if he has never ever spoiled you. Like, oh, say like, oh, can you pay like for my car to get it fixed?
Oh, so you want
That's not spoiling. That in and of itself isn't spoiling.
a little allowance from your boyfriend like you're a 10-year-old. Okay, I'm a believer in equality, so if we're going to make the relationship completely transactional and I'm now required to do extra, what are you going to do extra in return? Nothing. The answer is nothing. These women think their presence around you is inherently valuable, so they shouldn't have to be pleasant or do anything nice for you if you get them that Gucci bag. And not to say that the manosphere doesn't preach similarly toxic relationship values under the guise of self-improvement content, but the problem with both is that they're lying to you and selling you a fantasy of what the opposite sex is like or should be like because they know it will make them money. In the case of the manosphere, women should permanently have their mouths sewed up and let you cheat on them all the time, and if you're a spoiled girly, then you need a golden retriever man who is in his divine masculine and showers you with money constantly. Well, here's your golden retriever.
Well, so this guy kind of says something similar to me, but then he takes the liberal egalitarian perspective. And I get he's probably not going to say he's a liberal egalitarian. I'm saying liberal more in the classical sense, I suppose, like the 90s type of liberal. But I'm disagreeing with this guy because he's making this assumption of like equality, equality, equality. The point is that men and women are equal in nature, where they're both humans. They both have the equal value, obviously. But how they instantiate that nature, what they do, is different. Okay? So the problem is not necessarily that she is asking to get paid for by a man. Like, allowance is a bit weird, but the problem, there's no inherent problem with getting paid for as a woman, because that's the feminine imperative. Then, of course, the feminine woman's supposed to do stuff for the man, but I don't know, I feel like this guy's kind of taken the approach that it's morally, it's fine if it's like a 50-50 split and like the man pays for half the stuff, the woman pays for half the stuff, and all this other stuff. Like, no, it's not. That's, culture precedes, like policy, culture precedes how things actually end up turning out, right? Because in order to have what we have now in this world, okay, like imagine if Wizard Liz tried doing this in the 50s. It wouldn't work. And guess what? In the 50s, women were happier, men were happier, society was working better, you could work a regular job and get a nice big home, all this different stuff. It's a lot nicer, okay? And the point is that they didn't get there by any of these people's views. They got there by classical Christian values. That's how they got there, okay? So the solution is not to take this perspective like, oh, we'll just have equal relationship where you do both do things for each other. It's like, it's not that simple. Okay, there's a moral system which has been proven to work for literally thousands of years. And I don't care if you're taking the perspective that both sides are dumb. You shouldn't throw that out of the window. Everyone's throwing it out the window. You shouldn't. All right,
is
whatever.
poisoning women and is making them not worth marrying or even asking out on a date. So, in response to that, several months ago, women started going into my videos that were about the wizard Liz and said, "You're so wrong. Liz is engaged now and is about to get married. You're just jealous because she's happy."
This is not clickbait, it's very real. I am getting married and I am engaged. My fiance is Landon, born and raised in Texas. That this situation just proves to me even more how I'm always being guided and how you have to look out for the signs in life and how manifestation and setting your energy onto something really attracts it.
So she's engaged to a
Okay, yeah. So I believe in that, but I believe with that within the Christian system, right? Because, like, for instance, the Bible says, if you ask for something, you'll receive, and that's because it's actually very simple. Okay, and they don't know how to articulate the system. The point is that your ego, which is your center of consciousness, will orient you in a direction. It will orient you towards your higher self, and your higher self is made up by your image of God. So, let's say a vegan. A vegan will orient their ego towards their image of God, which is veganism. Therefore, the higher self is someone who practices veganism very militantly. Therefore, that's what they do. All right? You get what you ask for, you get what you're moving, you get where you're oriented towards. But the problem with most people is that they don't know where they're oriented. They don't know who they're oriented towards, why. They have all this repression, all this trauma that affects their thinking, all this different stuff, right? So, the problem she has is not that she believes in that. Like, a lot of the red pill manosphere people are like, oh, well, that's not true. Well, it is true. Okay? That's why you are where you are now. That's where I am now. Okay? But the point is that if you're orienting yourself without God and not like the consciousness idea of God, like Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, then you're going to be led in places that aren't that good. So she's saying, I'm always being guided. Yeah, you got guided into a relationship with a soy boy, which we're going to get into later, who does not hold up the values a man should hold up and ended up cheating on you and left you dissatisfied.
25-year-old Texas guy named Landon, and they're such a great couple. Look, they film TikToks together. They also go on trips to Japan to see Jujutsu Kaisen, look at Hello Kitty merch, and shop at the Gucci store.
So me and Landon are shopping in Gucci right now. He said I can get whatever I want.
They also really seem to speak highly of each other.
Oh yeah, the Gucci thing, I don't understand, like, because the bags don't even look good. So I don't, like, is it just like a status symbol? Women shouldn't really care about status symbols. So again, that's a masculine imperative, okay? Like, it would be one thing if they look really nice compared to the rest of the bags, but they don't.
One thing I love the most about Landon is how smart he is. Like, this is no joke. His brain is like insane. If I were to describe a man that really knows how to be a man in a non-toxic way and knows.
Yeah, so again, you heard me talk about, and I didn't watch this part, okay? I watched I watched probably like 30 seconds. Okay, and that's where I got all of my, that's where I got my position from. So, again, this just proves what I'm saying even more. This guy, who we'll get more into later, is essentially taking the female role, really, excuse me, who's taking the female role in the relationship. He's like such a man. He's such a great man. This is the problem. The problem is that people don't know what men and women should be. Not could be, should. Moral system. Everyone takes this thing where, well, everyone should be able to do whatever they want, and this whole liberal thing. No, there's rights and wrongs, regardless of how you feel about it. Okay?
How to respect a woman, I would literally describe you.
The Wizard Liz is the most beautiful girl in the entire world. Dad.
They look like they're perfect for each other, and the fans love it as we get to see a different side of Liz who is happy instead of stuck up and angry all the time like she usually is in her videos.
I want to film a TikTok.
Okay, what are we doing?
So, I have to introduce to you guys
Oh my God.
my current husband. So we met
What is it?
in,
Wait, your current husband?
yes,
No, baby. No, I'm your forever husband.
no,
Yeah, and like, so that's not really a funny joke. It's not like something you joke about. right? Like a joke is like, I don't know, something lighthearted. I mean, has a lot that is a lot of entailment in it that's not positive to think about. Right? And this guy just all smiles like, that's how a woman should react when a man says that about them. Okay? Or maybe even get sad. Either just like laugh kind of nervously or get sad. And again, like the whole thing about being on social media and, you know, like being this person that everyone looks at. Like I don't know if you guys know, but for a very long time, when we're kind of just in the background, and then a man who had something to his name, something worth, you know, sharing with another person, would see them, think they're attractive, and then, you know, court them. It weren't like some chick that's like the whole entire town knew. Because guess what? If someone knew who a girl was, and the whole the whole town knew who a girl was, they're either the queen or princess, or they're a prostitute. Okay, so the same dynamic kind of plays into it now. Men shouldn't be attracted to a woman that, like, physically, sure, but like they shouldn't be attracted to the character of a woman who has like this huge following and like, oh my god, everyone looks at them and stuff, because it's just not, it doesn't align with the feminine role, the classical feminine role, which has been established for thousands of years and is morally, okay, not just it is, but there's an ought, is morally a should. Women should be that way.
Oh, that's factual. You have to talk factual because they don't understand, you know.
So
You have to
fact.
say like currently, right now.
But you're currently and forever my wife.
I mean, you can't argue with
And he's like playing along and like, that's not funny, okay? Man, there's time to get serious. That's a moment to get serious.
the results. She did end up getting married to her current husband. It looks like I've been wrong about the gold digger trend, and there are golden retriever guys out there who are in their perfect divine masculine, just waiting to swoop in and get a girl like Liz. And they've been married for a while at this point, so why don't we just take a look at Liz's Instagram and see how that's going. Here's a story that says, Landon decided to make a Snapchat account and reach out to a girl to meet up. He called the relationship fake. Meanwhile, my cats are with him in Dallas in our apartment, and oh, I'm 4 months pregnant. Wow, he made moves to cheat on her in record time. Dallas in
Okay,
our
let me just read this. Honestly, this guy's flow of the video is kind of messing with, you know, what I'm trying to say. He says he's incredibly sorry, but honestly, I feel like I don't know him at all. I feel stupid for ignoring the signs and dreams I had told him, and told me I was crazy. It wasn't your intuition, woman. Men want to lead the world, but can't even control their lust. It's true. It's weak. A man that can't control us will never be able to lead. True. So, but then that kind of begs the question of, okay, well, you want a man that's masculine, but you aren't taking on the feminine role. You know, in a relationship, naturally, one will take a masculine role, one will take a feminine role. Now, it's obvious which sex should take which role, but it's like you're trying to shove in gender roles into an egalitarian, like a girl power worldview. Like, that doesn't work. Okay? The reason why there's so many problems in the world is because everyone's too stupid to recognize how worldviews connect and how all your beliefs connect together. Okay?
apartment, and oh, I'm 4 months pregnant. Found out because the girl Landon was texting contacted her, and the rest just happened with asking if this girl is still in Dallas. I'm guessing this is someone he has known for a while, and immediately she is standoffish. He then says, he is looking for friends that are female. Landon continues to spend several messages saying that he and Liz are not legally married, which I'm going to choose to believe because they didn't have a wedding. They haven't really talked about the marriage process at all. And
Do not tell a man that your exes treated you badly. The way men think is, I have to do a little bit more than the ex.
What man thinks that isn't a complete loser? Like, again, this advice applies to losers. Like, I couldn't imagine a world where I would ever think that. Like, that's like saying, well, men actually think that, you know, when they press the toilet seat, they gotta tap it 3 times. Like, what are you talking about? Now, maybe I can see how losers would think that, but guess what? You're setting up your audience view of losers. And again, okay, this is not supposed to be the female imperative, so am I gonna sit here and say, like, no, she was wrong, like, what an idiot? It's like, no, I actually feel kind of bad for her because she's a lady. Okay, she's a woman. At the end of the day, she's a woman. So I actually feel kind of bad for her. Because at the end of the day, women are a product of the society they're in. Okay, because they're conformists, naturally. Right? You get like, oh, well, that's like, like wrong and all this other stuff. Just look at anthropology, history, etc. Bible, remember, it's a worldview propounded on. Philosophy, whatever angle you want to take. But, yeah, it's ridiculous. And the point with that is that men create the society. So if women are conformists, then that means it's men's fault that women are a certain way. And I believe that totally. So I feel like she's the victim, not just of byproduct, but actually a victim. Feel bad for her, of men that were low quality. So now she searches out these same low quality men. So that's her animus image. Right?
In that way, I'm like a little better. So if you tell him, oh, my ex used to beat me up and abuse me, then he will think, oh, okay, if I just don't abuse her, I'm the good guy. Okay? So what I recommend you do is always tell him, oh yeah, my exes, they always used to take care of me. Like I was always financially taken care of, all these things. You have to tell a man that. And maybe later down the line when you're already in a relationship, you can tell him like how it really was if you want to tell about your exes and you can open up. But especially in the beginning stages when you guys are dating, do not say this.
Right, great. So you think it's okay to misrepresent yourself in a relationship until a person is too emotionally attached to say otherwise, and Landon just gave back the same energy that you give to men by misrepresenting himself until you had strong emotional attachments. That seems fair to me, but the fans are pretty upset about this whole thing.
I'm convinced that all men cheat at this point. Just woke up to the most devastating news. The Wizard Liz just posted.
Yeah, you think it's so devastating because you think Wizard Liz is the ideal woman when she's so far away from it that it's unbelievable. Like that's her problem. Okay? Women like the Wizard Liz attract feminine soy boy men. Okay? And we're gonna get more into that later. But
Said that her fiance Landon cheated on her.
Man at this point, literally.
Child that these two retards produced, I'm sorry that he or she now has to grow up in a broken family. But the reason I don't feel bad for Liz is because of all the terrible and sociopathic advice that she gives. Like that time she told her audience to break up with the guy if their relationship is too comfortable or too stable. Well, you wanted some instability and you're okay with lying to people, so this is what you get. Enjoy the chaos.
again, I don't really take that angle because she's a woman. Okay, she's a lady. She may not act completely like a lady, and we're right to point that out. But kind of just like the hang her dry like that, even if it's only rhetoric, it's kind of like, it's not very nice. Okay, again, this is where like the Manosphere Red Pillars would be like, oh, what, are you trying to be nice? Or are you a simp or something? It's like, no, I mean, I wouldn't date her ever. Yeah. I had to think about that one. That's just, no. But she's a woman at the end of the day, so, you know, be a little charitable, be a little nice. Okay, if you want to be, you know, mean to anyone, be mean to the men that, you know, made the society that made her this way, and be mean to the guy that cheated on her, because that guy's a loser, okay? But you can still make these, like, worldview critiques and explain how women don't actually know what they're saying about men, and this is just an example. That's fine, but, you know, be nice, okay?
Speaking of investment, Liz goes on to say in her Instagram story that she will be selling her $100,000 engagement ring. But to go even further, Liz edited some of the descriptions of her Instagram videos, and one of the edits says that he spent almost $1 million on her throughout the relationship. Holy shit. I believe they were together for only 10 months. I mean, who screwed over who? Not to say that cheating isn't bad, but I do want to point out the fact that Liz can just rattle off that number means she is constantly tallying up what people have done for her, and relationships to her are just completely transactional. And this favor counting is something that you can see her doing.
And here's the thing, and this is the angle no one takes. Relationship is just transactional. Well, guess what? If you don't believe in God, you just believe that humans are just these like walking balls of meat who happen to have some kind of attraction for each other in certain situations, then yeah, it's always transactional. When there's no deeper non-physical self, yeah, bro, it's just transactional. It's just for the, you know, for the thriving of human society. We're just there to reproduce. Yeah, so that's another assumption that creates terrible relationships. You assume that it's just, oh, it's just physical. We're just physical. We're just we're just together because, you know, we make each other, you know, we physically help each other. It's like, no, there's a non-physical self. There's a deeper aspect to that, and that transcends the physical world.
In a lot of her videos.
I used to also be the person where I go above and beyond for people's birthdays and whatever. And I really put so much effort into doing that. And then I realized when it comes to my birthday, these same friends of mine wouldn't do the same thing for me at all. Like, it was so disrespectful. And I felt so bad because I was like, I put so much effort into your birthday. You don't feel the same way about me. So I stopped doing that. Now I give them what they give me.
A little life advice, guys. If you only do things purely because you want something in return, then you're going to find yourself around a lot of shallow and awful people. Liz is very self-centered, and the reason she constantly complains about having bad relationship partners and bad friends is because she doesn't actually consider the needs of others. She only does things for people because she wants something from them. And this is what I mean when I say that Liz gives a lot of awful advice that will pathologize the audience into being terrible relationship material, or just flat out blackpill them with how people treat her because of her bad choices. When the reality is that the reason why this stuff happened to Liz is not because men are evil, it's because she's not that good of a partner or a friend from a moral standpoint, and because she is terrible at recognizing a number of red flags. In fact, originally I was going to say this stuff back when she announced the engagement, but I chose to make a video on a different gold digger named Manifestel instead. I typically don't like doing let's talk about Landon's backstory. How did he get his money? Well, he began as a Minecraft
Oh my god.
YouTuber and then moved to Fortnite.
Minecraft YouTubing. Yep. That's an additional charge, buddy. Now we gotta charge you with cringe as well.
Let's just look at his most popular videos, and number 4, giving Pokemon the Galaxy skin in Fortnite from a few years back.
Bro,
I'm gonna send it 15. I'm gonna say, hey Pokey, I don't know if this donut will pop up, but I have a surprise for you. Alright, so send it in the dono. Will this thing even pop up? Oh, I think that's my dono.
Hey, Pokey,
like this. Oh my god. Yeah, sure, it was 6 years ago, but I'm assuming he's still doing stuff similar to this now. That'll be my operating assumption here, but like, yeah, no wonder you got cheated on, bro. You're with a kid, basically. Okay? This is not what a man does. A man doesn't go on stream with a little Fortnite llama in the background and send Galaxy skins to a big streamer, okay? Men should be concerned with their physical prowess and their mental prowess. Okay? This is none of it. Okay? Even if he's making, oh, but he's making money. Again, a stupid assumption that people make. Just because you make money doesn't validate what you do. Okay? I can make money, I don't know, starting an OnlyFans. No matter how much money you make, that's a morally reprehensible thing to do. Okay? So, oh my god, bro. People just have so many retarded assumptions. Like, you know, I used to do natural theology arguments for God. I don't do that anymore. But there's this guy named Alexander Vilenkin who's a cosmologist. And he said that a theory is only as good as its assumptions. And that is such a profound saying. Okay, like, no one quotes it, but that's such a profound saying. Okay, one's worldview is only as good as their assumptions. One's arguments are only as good as their assumptions. The reason why we have all these problems in the world with male and female relationships is because everyone's assumptions about the other gender and what they should do themselves are so stupid. That's not what they'll attack. They'll attack, you know, maybe I should wear a different shirt to attract a girl. It's like, no, your assumptions about how you should be and how women are wrong. So it doesn't matter what shirt you wear, bro. Even if the shirt does make you more attractive. Understand? So that's why I talk about worldviews and like high level stuff. And in this video, I haven't used much of the language, but you know, high level philosophical terms, I guess, because most people don't understand what I'm saying when I say it. I'm saying that because we need to elevate. Okay, we need to get smarter. All right, the average person has a reading level of like 5th or 6th grade. It's embarrassing.
pop up, but I have a surprise for you, Carrot_Carrot.
I'm dying of secondhand cringe here. He's all nervous about his donation, and she has a face that says WTF when she sees it.
That's a feminine posture.
I know he's like 19 or 20 here, but he seems to still be buying women as his main strategy, so I think it's still relevant. This is so pathetic. He's supposed to be like friends with her, but he has to donate to her stream to get her attention.
I think it's better to mail it just because I don't know if it's...
such a nervous wreck, man. Okay.
Liz, come on. You got engaged to a tier 3 Pokimane simp? Holy shit.
Okay.
Pink
Awesome,
hoodie,
dope.
pink Supreme
Wow,
hoodie.
was I nervous.
Wow, was I nervous?
Dude, I'm such a nervous wreck, man. Okay.
Liz, come on.
He actually doesn't look that much different now, so thank God he has the beard, because without the beard, he just looks like a 16-year-old, 16-year-old kid who plays Fortnite.
You got engaged to a tier 3 Pokimane simp? Holy shit. I thought she had high standards. I mean, it's not like she didn't know about this video. It's at the top of the list. I know how women like to become little detectives and snoop on the people they're in a relationship
That's
with,
true.
and I don't blame them for doing that. They're just trying to make sure they aren't dating some crazy stalker. But okay, now that we know a little bit more about Landon, let's talk about the obvious red flags. For starters, let's do some math. The relationship was roughly 10 months long, and she said she was 4 months pregnant, meaning they decided to have a baby after only dating for like 6 months.
Okay, I know what line he's going down here. He's going to talk about, well, they haven't been together for that long, and he's probably going to bring up their age. It's like, again, this is like the more liberal egalitarian point, because before, in a more conservative society, women got married young, and men got married young, and had kids young, and they weren't together for like 5 years before they got married. They married relatively quickly. And guess what? Society was doing well, so this argument of like, well, they're not old enough and they haven't been together for long enough is stupid, because it's not a necessary condition for a good relationship. The necessary good condition for a good relationship is a good man and a good woman, and that is transcendent of age. Okay? So, again, this is kind of the whole liberal egalitarian conceding point of like, well, just be older. It's like, no, how about we change the culture so men can marry young and women can marry young and have good relationships. Alright, that's what we should be aiming for. Because this is kind of like a damage control strategy when you don't need to do damage control. How about you just educate men to be smart? Okay, not to be losers. Which, you know, again, this guy, I'm using his video, so how critical can I be of them? But at the same time, it's like, you know, you watch videos and you give surface level liberal views on them without challenging any norms. Because I'm challenging all the norms, bro. Like, I'm disagree with this guy. I disagree with Manosphere. I disagree with Girl Power. I disagree with everyone. I'm basically my own island over here in terms of YouTubers that actually make this up. And the only person that could ever have something similar to me is like a Christian. But guess what? A Christian's gonna start not liking when I say like something that's kind of mean. Okay, and most Christians actually have kind of liberal presuppositions. So I'm kind of on my own over here. Alright? I'm trying to give you high-level worldview stuff that's kind of trying to shatter your worldview and try to make you see something new. I feel like this guy kind of preaches to the choir on a lot of things.
Like I said, these two are very stupid. This was a very irresponsible choice for two.
Well, yeah, but, you know, one of them is I don't want to get banned off YouTube, but one of them is, I mean, that's, like, there's always going to be one dumb one in a relationship, okay? The whole point is the other one is supposed to make up for it because, you know, complementary opposites. And it's not to say that's not me insulting women. That's just me saying there's different roles, okay? So again, that's like I understand I'm kind of nitpicking, but I'm trying to really just hone in on this point about worldviews.
Two people
And
who
assumptions.
barely know each other. The second thing we can do some math on is the fact that the engagement was announced 7.5 months before the breakup, meaning they got engaged like 2 or so months after getting together. Now, let me clarify this for the normies who don't research TikTok for a living. There's this trend where TikTok girls say, if he wanted to, he would, which is sort of a way of shaming guys for being in a relationship for like 5 years without proposing. And
I actually kind of agree with him on that. Why would he be in a relationship for 5 years without proposing? Like, maybe you got together at a very young age and trying to get yourself situated, which is fine. But aside from that, why would he be dating for 5 years? That's a good question. Now, the problem with the woman is they're masculine, so they're not worth marrying, so it doesn't apply to them. But if you find a good woman, why would you date them for 5 years? And there's another assumption here. I wonder what this guy thinks. Is it morally wrong to have sex before marriage? I wonder, because, I mean, he's talking about all these liberal points. I mean, that's a liberal point there. Is it wrong to have sex before marriage? Because the only way I could see you dating a woman for 5 years is if you believe sex before marriage is okay and you do it. Because, I mean, what else? What other reason? Like, what, is she telling you, like, high-level philosophical points and she's adding to your intelligence? Like,
And I mean, fair enough, women shouldn't be burning major segments of their young life waiting for a ring, but oftentimes the if he wanted to, he would mentality is used as a justification for super quick engagements just to have the title of wife, and not because the relationship is good. So as a warning to people who are young, it takes time to get to know someone. Anyone can put up a facade for a few weeks or a few months, but once you hit that 6-month point or that year point, it gets pretty difficult to pretend to be someone else. So you should be waiting for at least that long before a proposal, and longer if you're under 25.
Yeah, again, then he makes about age again. So he kind of didn't make the exact point I thought he was going to make. So I guess what I say is just a general point. But I guess, like, don't take what I'm saying as, like, personal attacks on this guy. Like, everything I'm saying is in the general, okay? So maybe he doesn't exactly believe what I'm saying, but what I'm saying still applies because I'm still talking to an audience of people who believe the things that I'm saying that they believe and what I'm critiquing. But yeah, I mean, the whole facade thing, I mean, if you're not stupid, you can crack facades relatively easily. Because facade, I mean, the thing is, they just... I don't know how to say this without getting banned off YouTube, but, like...
This is all important
You're
to point
smart, you
out
know what
because
I'm
my
talking
first reaction to Landon when I heard about the engagement last year was, this guy is nuts and he's not mentally stable. In the engagement video, Liz describes how they texted a couple times over the past 3 years and finally got together after randomly seeing each other at the airport. Here's the story of that airport encounter.
All of a sudden, I decided, let me book a trip to Santorini with my friend. We had a flight to Santorini, but there was a stop in Athens because I had booked last minute and all the flights were full. Okay, they're full. So me and my friend, we go to the airport, and mind you guys, I'm wearing a cap that's like up until here. You can barely see, you can see like this of my nose, and I'm wearing a mask, okay? No one could recognize me. I think probably people couldn't even recognize what gender I was. I'm walking in the airport and we stop in Athens. Me and
You probably could, I mean, you have a very feminine nose. I've never seen a guy with that nose before.
my friend, we quickly go get like some food and stuff. Me and her were sitting, and I'm like, I pulled the mask a little bit just to eat my food. This is how much you can see of my face, okay? Like nothing. I'm sitting, and then all of a sudden, I hear Liz. I look up, and I'm like, Landon? And guys, I do not know how he recognized me. I do not know how I recognized him. I've never seen this guy in my life, never in real life. I don't know what he looks like, and he definitely didn't look like how he used to look 3 years before. That's the only time I saw his picture. So he's like, yeah, I'm going back to America, but he's like, I forgot my bag where you were sitting. That's why I came back for my bag. And then he starts telling me about why he's there, because he lives in America. Like, what are the odds of us meeting each other in an airport in Athens? What are the odds, guy? Like, I don't live in Europe. He lives in America. Like, that's crazy. Guys, can you imagine the coincidence here? You know, and look how divinely guided that is.
Liz, this guy is so obviously stalking you. That was immediately my first thought when I heard this story several months ago, and apparently everyone else thought that too. Like, that is a crazy number of random chance events.
Divinely guided coincidence. I mean, I believe in synchronicity, but... And again, like, am I going to criticize her for not picking this up? And I feel like this guy will, and other people will, like, oh, you should have known he was a stalker. It's like, well, no, I mean, she's a lady. I mean, you know. I mean, men are supposed to protect them from that, and men are supposed to not do that to them. So I think this is a man's issue.
Occurring together. They both happen. She is completely covered. I mean, these are movie levels of unlikely events occurring together. Doctor Strange gives up better. There's one thing I know about women on the internet. It's that they always have stalkers who know an uncomfortable amount of painted fingernails makes it even more suspicious. The fact that Landon was a Pokemon simp and the painted fingernails makes it even...
He's such a real man. Oh my god, what everyone thinks about a man and woman is just so... That's why this relationship didn't work.
even more suspicious. I don't know, maybe she didn't see that he's a stalker because her therapist is a BetterHelp therapist.
I would love to mention that BetterHelp is a paid partner of...
Yeah, any secular therapy sucks automatically, and even most Christian therapy sucks.
This video.
I want to say a huge thank you to BetterHelp. BetterHelp.
Jokes aside, Liz, did you even watch this video back after you
uploaded about it? You guys saw me crashing out on my YouTube channel. Even people were commenting like, this girl is losing her mind.
Him to be manipulated. This is why he started mirroring all of her beliefs and saying exactly what she wanted to hear when he talked to her at the airport.
And what's even crazier is like he told me like stories where he was like, Liz, I think I really manifested you, because he was like,
Dude, this is such a weak manipulation bag, but it just tells you how easy it is. All these people are like, oh, he's like a master manipulator. He's so smart. It's like, bro, it's so easy. It's so easy to do little things like this. If you're just aware and you're smart. Don't do this, obviously. Okay, aside from like the persuasion realm, but
when I used to go through
That's
breakups or whatever, I used to tell my best friend, it doesn't matter that I'm going through this breakup because there's still women like the Wizard Liz out there. And he was like, you were literally in my head the ideal woman ever since I saw you online. And guys,
again, she's a lady. Okay, may not act like one, but okay. It's okay. Fell for it. That's fine. But I'm just laughing at, like, I know how this guy was thinking in his mind about planning all this stuff. It's just such a funny thing. Because, like, dude, you're such a loser, bro. Like, how about you just be yourself and then have that be attractive? But, oh, wait, you're a guy who plays Fortnite and you're a loser. So, that doesn't work.
for me, the
And you're all, like, giggly.
exact thing that I wrote down in the manifestation journal of how I want my husband to be and all these things is literally my fiance, like to a T. Even the thing about emotional intelligence and knowing how to be deep.
Okay, I feel like I'm making the points I'm supposed to make. So I'm gonna speed this up. I'm still gonna make some points, but you know, at a certain point in these videos, it's kind of like, bro, like, okay.
Kidding me, Liz. If a guy says, I manifested you, and you don't see that as a massive red flag, then you are beyond help. Any guy who's into that manifestation bullshit is either gay or trying to manipulate you. Clearly, he is just watching your videos and mirroring back exactly what you want to hear.
Yeah, so I don't agree with the law of attraction metaphysic, but I already explained the ego-oriented thing, and that's rooted in Christianity. I mean, the Bible literally talks about that. So that's gonna be another major disagreement with him, and he seems to be a very physically oriented person. He just believes in the physical. So, and he might even be an atheist, because I mean, I don't never seen him mention God before. So, I mean, same thing applies to him.
That's why you said he fits you perfectly. All he had to do was watch your videos, memorize your interests, and pretend to be that person. It's not even that time consuming to watch everything you've made on YouTube. When I did my first piece of content on you, I was able to watch and timestamp 30 of your videos, which was every YouTube video that you had at the time, in just a couple of days. Imagine what a stalker can do with a couple of years. Though the best part of all of this is that now everyone can clearly see the advice that she gives about men is dog shit.
I need women to understand that men will say they want good women, but good women never get rewarded. It's always like, oh, I want a day one girl. I want a girl that has been there from the beginning. But those women get literally later on cheated on. Why is this? Because that's not the woman they want. That's the only woman they can get right now. Once they are at a level where they have the money, they want to spend their money on the fantasy woman, on the woman that they actually want. If you feel bad asking a man,
The fantasy woman? Well, what? I would like the definition of this fantasy woman. Is it a celebrity crush or something like that? If so, then that guy's just a loser.
for anything, then you should think, if a man took out his celebrity crush, do you think that he would just take her out on a coffee date or something simple? No, best believe he would go all out trying to impress his celebrity crush. Why are you anything less?
It seems like that's not the case because...
Okay, yeah, so... Yeah, and this is another assumption that men make, and I see this a lot in, like, the manosphere space. It's like, oh, well, high-value woman, you know, like, oh my god, you know, like, she's... And you see all these, like, men with, like, a lot of status and whatever, going for these women who have, you know, a lot of, like, Instagram followers and stuff. It's like, bro... First of all, she's not particularly attractive in most cases. But also, a woman's status should not be attractive. Because what does status say? Status... Let's look at it from human history, okay? Status is a symbol of being able to take care of you. So, like, you go like, oh, so high status. That's assuming that it's attractive because they can take care of you, okay? Now, that's the female imperative. So, if a man cares about this stuff, then he is taking a female imperative. So, guess what? At least to some degree beyond what he should be, he's feminine. And again, I believe in balancing the masculine and feminine, so like femininity, creativity, intuition, those are important aspects. I'm using creativity to make this video, so I'm using feminine traits. But the point is, when we're talking about imperatives, right, these are moral shoulds. So a man should not care about a woman's status because that presupposes that, you know, status is attractive because, well, they can take care of you. That's the only reason why status would ever be attractive. Or you get clout from other people, which is, you know, its own problem. So, that's the problem with that. A man shouldn't care about that. A man shouldn't treat a celebrity. They shouldn't even be really attracted to celebrity, but they shouldn't treat them any different from any other girl.
because he still cheated on you, Liz. And if you don't want to become a single mother by two different men, then maybe you should focus more on the guy's character than whether he took you on a coffee date or not. I mean, from a practical standpoint, do you want your future husband to just be burning cash on random chicks that he's dating for a few months at a time? Or do you want the guy who goes on a coffee date and saves his wealth for his wife and his kids? This is why I say you should avoid women like Liz like the plague. They don't know anything about stable relationships. They just know, I want these shoes from Hermes. I swear this chick thinks like a prostitute. To make matters worse, 3 days or so before Liz found out that Landon was trying to cheat on her, they released this relationship Q&A to give marriage advice to her YouTube followers. As if these two tards know anything about that. They haven't even been together for a year, and they weren't even legally married. But during this video, she insists that he wasn't stalking her. So let's hear her rebuttal as well as his side of the story.
And the thing I want to clarify, because a lot of people think that you stalked me.
Which is crazy, by the way. Just got engaged and Liz posted that video. There were some comments that were like, I think this guy is like an upper stalker.
Okay, let's see how they interact with each other. This is gonna be an important segment.
And he like knew where she was gonna be.
My friend does not have social media. Like, she doesn't have Instagram, and I never ever post my location.
Yeah, so not having social media, that's an attractive trait. By the way, women having social media is unattractive. Okay? I know like the liberal egalitarian people will be like, oh, well, why does it matter? I mean, they should be able to do what they want. It's like, first of all, we don't want you getting brainwashed by a bunch of propaganda, and also, we don't like when you show yourself off to a bunch of people. So even if you have a private Instagram, the first point applies, but the second point applies, especially if you're like posting yourself and all this different stuff. Like, I get you want to be cute and all, but it's supposed to be for your husband. That's the whole point of being in a relationship together and being home, right?
For safety reasons. So no way he could have known I'm in Athens, and especially there.
Oh, you naive child. I'm not going to be specific because I don't feel the need to give internet stalkers any ideas, but you can definitely make this happen with very little information on someone if you have the kind of money that Landon has, and if you have some patience. Seeing that you guys talked before, he probably would have enough of your personal info to pull this up.
Yeah, so, again, she's a lady. No, I'm not going to blame her for not recognizing
off. And let this be a warning to all the princess treatment girlies out there. People who are rich can do a lot of crazy Gucci or not.
And the people kind of...
Okay, so let's analyze one thing. So Liz is talking like this, okay? Making points. Straightforward. Straight at the camera. This is a masculine speech pattern, okay? Let's see how this guy is.
Following this path that led me into Ibiza last summer, and...
Looking down.
And I ended up meeting some people that I was going to go to Mykonos with, and...
He just looks down so much. Like... He just looks everywhere but where he's like, that's like female communication. Female communication is very non-confrontational, so they don't like making eye contact too much. This guy, he's just looking everywhere but the point of reference where he's supposed to be talking to.
And the people that I was staying with...
And don't give me, oh, he's just bad on camera. Dude, he's been making videos for 6 years, okay? Don't give me that.
Up trying to scam me a couple times. They successfully scammed like $20-something. And whenever I landed in Athens, which is where I was connected, and I was like, you know what, time to end my trip, go back to America. I went to go get my bags off the plane so they didn't go to Mykonos without me, and I really...
And then you see how he ends his words, like, without me, looking away, highward infliction.
Realized I had left my backpack.
I left my backpack, again, looking down.
In a gate in airport security. And so I was like, wait.
That's a feminine head movement.
I really need that. I never lose
I really need that. I never lose that.
This bag. So I went to go get my backpack. I get my bag. I start walking to leave the airport. And
walking to my airport? Like, dude, this is... So, again, this is what I'm talking about. This is the man in a relationship. This is the woman in a relationship. Okay? And that's why they have problems. And that's why what happened, okay? This guy's basically a woman in a man's body.
And as I'm walking, I try to be observant.
Try to be observant. Like, I've literally seen girls talk about that before. Try to be observant.
And then
he also speaks in a very timid way. And again, you may think, oh, you're breaking this guy's balls, but like, I'm trying to make a point here. I'm trying to make a point that their roles are backwards.
I walked a step and I felt like I entered just like a new dimension, not to sound crazy. And then immediately I sensed that I need to look up right over here, and I look up and I see Liz sitting. She has a hat on.
Okay, this is a bit much. Like, again, I said I believe in, mental orientation, and what you believe is what you get. I believe in that, but like, when you start describing like this, it's not I don't feel like it's. Should I explain that? Okay, well, I'll explain it very briefly. So, as a man, you're supposed to stay grounded.
She had like a map.
So, the intuition adds to grounding. Okay, women are supposed to be feel like they're very intuitively led because they are. Right. So again, this is more feminine traits.
Basically covering her face. She was eating food, so like I can't even really see her. She's sitting by her friend, and I thought, oh my god, that's Liz. And I recognized you. I had no idea. Like I had never seen you before
And I
in
remember
person.
he was like, Liz?
Okay, so his version of the story sounds way more like stalking than what she said. Some random scammer tries to mess with him, his trip gets canceled, and because of that, he's free. And he forgot his backpack. Well, of course he forgot his backpack because Liz wasn't at the gate she was supposed to be at, so he needed an excuse to walk through at the airport to go look for her.
But in my head, I like adored you, to be honest. Like every time that you would send me a message, I got just uniquely excited. The first time you ever sent me a voice message, I remember I was in the
Oh,
LA.
yeah, you're not supposed to. Again, that's more like that's how women are supposed to be in a relationship. When the guy she really likes texts her, she's like, "Oh my god, oh he's sweeping me off my feet." That's like a feminine thing. Okay, if you're a man and you're getting texted by a woman, like it's not like you're supposed to not like it. Like you're not supposed to be like, oh my god, she texted me. Wow, that's homo. All right. So again, your theory, your relationship, your everything's only as good as your assumptions. They both have wrong assumptions about what a man and woman are supposed to be.
Airports trying to fly home to Dallas, and I got a voice message from you, and that like really stuck with me, and I always thought about you in airports for some reason. So
Ironically, this idealization statement about airports occurs immediately before Liz denies the stalking allegations, and she doesn't connect the dots. And let me point out that Landon also has some sort of tech startup company for VR glasses or whatever, so if anyone is good enough with technology to know how to find out where Liz was flying, it would be Landon.
there was a moment where I was wanting to have more friends that were like-minded, more people in my life that are interested in manifestation and aware of energies and all of this. And so in my head, like Liz was that person.
Like, yeah, so again, this guy believes that men and women can just be friends. And again, the liberals are gonna be like, what do you mean? Like, men and women can be friends? No, they can't. Because I mean, if you believe in gender roles, then what is a man gonna do for a woman in a friendly way, and what is a woman gonna do for a man in a friendly way? Nothing at all. So, oh my God, there's so many problems to like break down. But again, I mean, you can only believe a woman can be friends with you if you yourself see yourself in the same light as them. Because I mean, there's a saying that goes, "Birds of the same feather flock together," right? Works here too. If you hang around women as friends, then what does that say about you? And the point is that, I mean, a woman should either be someone you don't know or don't care about, an acquaintance, or potential partner. And I guess that can then turn into wife or girlfriend, right? Those are supposed to be the points, right? Friend shouldn't be anywhere in that. It shouldn't. It doesn't work. It's a waste of time. Like, how can you go out for like lunch with a girl and just have it be friendly? Like, you literally have to act like a woman for that to be the case, or she would have to act like a dude. So again, it's backwards, and this is the problem.
And I wanted to just be friends with you, to be honest. I told you that right away. I was like, hey, I'm trying to be, like, I want to be friends.
Yeah.
I mean, you also just wanted to be friends with that girl from Snapchat that you tried to meet up with.
You're also very honest.
Don't worry, in 3 days she'll see the irony of that statement. So Liz and Landon have this conversation after a very unlikely meeting. He says a bunch of nice things that she wants to hear, and since his plans were canceled, she invites him to stay with her in Greece. And then 36 hours into the stay, he says that he loves her.
You know, it's really hard to be vulnerable with anybody, especially if you've been shown time and time again that...
Yeah, 36 hours to say I love you, I mean, that's just... It's either manipulation or you're a loser. Those are two options. And loving a girl doesn't make you a loser, but 36 hours, like, come on. Let's be real, okay?
Vulnerability is something that gets you hurt. And so, yeah, intimacy is directly... A necessity of intimacy is vulnerability.
Yeah, he really taught me that. Who said I love you first?
Oh my God. I told this woman that I loved her within 36 hours of knowing her. And I told, like, I literally told her within 36 hours, I was like, look, this is going to sound like a lot, and I'm sorry, because I know it's weird, but I know I'm supposed to marry you. You know, that's weird as heck, but...
Yeah.
I thought you just wanted to be friends. We go from friends to let's get married in less than 2 days. That's a really fast-moving friendship. I mean, at that speed, he could have been married to that Snapchat chick by the time that Liz got back from London. The fact that this wasn't a red flag to Liz means that she really doesn't know anything about relationships. It makes sense why she gives so much terrible advice for how to select partners. It's even...
Well, again, like, okay, she shouldn't be giving advice to people, but at the same time, she's a lady, okay? So I'm not surprised. I don't think you should expect that from a lady. To understand that.
Worse, because she said she was going to therapy. Did she tell her therapist about this? Did she tell anyone
Okay, secular therapy, so that might as well be useless.
about her relationship who could have said, hey, maybe this isn't such a good idea? It looks like she didn't. It looks like she wanted the title of wife so badly that not only did she lie to her audience about being married, but also felt like it was okay to rush through any safety measure that would prevent a relationship with an abuse.
I get the point. So, like, this guy's apology, I already said this guy's basically... Actually, let's listen to him. This probably be the last section. What's after this? It's some other... Okay, no.
After everything went down,
Okay,
Landon went
let's
onto
do
his
this last
Instagram to say
section
his
here.
piece about the cheating event.
Look, I'm not going to come on here and ask for your forgiveness.
Let's make it 1x.
I'm just going to come on here and ask for understanding because I made a mistake, but that doesn't mean that I don't love Liz. I love her with my entire heart, and we have a baby on the way. And over the last 10 months, I have done everything I can to give this person all that I can and to make her happy and do all of this. And regardless of how...
Yeah, there are, like, the other things, like, whole social media relationships, because, like, when you're a social media influencer and make your relationship all public and with another influencer, when your relationship starts going bad, you're basically obligated to start talking about it, which is just ridiculous. I mean, this is the type of stuff that shouldn't be talked about in public, right? So that's why my relationship's going to be very low-key. I mean, you're probably not even... Like, maybe one day, you know, I'll just put my hands up, you see I have a ring, and you're like, oh, you got married. But, like, that's the most you're probably going to get, okay?
much I care, I made a mistake. I love Liz.
Change a choice, not a mistake. Well, to make a mistake, you need to make a choice. So I get, like, I'm not supporting this guy. I'm not saying, like, you cheated, that's a great thing, but, like, that's kind of stupid. Like, come on. A mistake presupposes a choice. Like, to make a mistake, you have to make a choice. So, yeah, it is a choice. And it's also a mistake. It's both of them.
More than I could even put words to, and I have shown I've shown her this, and I've tried my best to make her feel safe and happy and protected, and I'm taking accountability regardless. This is not something that I want to promote or make seem like I identify with. This is not who I want to be, and I'm sorry.
Bro is trying to give an apology while trying to look like a Marvel villain. But this relationship wasn't even a year old. You weren't even past the honeymoon phase, and you're already looking for other women. I don't think an apology can be accepted right now. This is who you are. You aren't fit for a relationship. Well, I don't think that Liz is fit for one either. But I guess in this case, she is the more innocent.
I don't care. 26 minutes in, kind of already got my points out at this point. There's no point in watching the rest. Thank you for watching. Want to talk to me, debate me, ask me questions, whatever. Join the Discord, subscribe, and see you in the next one.